Inside the NBA host on TNT, NBA broadcast legend. He's also TNT MLB studio host, the one and only Ernie Johnson. Ernie, before we ask you the first question, we just wanted to give you a reminder of what it sounded like last night with you and the crew out there outside of Chase Center.
They're going to have to make them. I thought they got great shots in the first half. They just did not go in. But the one thing we have learned during the playoffs, you go back to Milwaukee, Boston game 1. You go back to Dallas against Phoenix game 1. Nobody's going to overreact to the game. Hey, you're right. Hey, y'all suck too.
A man can only take so many of those.
No. I love doing that. Hey, I love doing that.
It was like the counter was going on. 9, 10, 11.
But there's a guy on the other side that started the chant. He's the one.
Hey, listen, I don't pay that fool no attention. No, Ernie.
Back to the locker room and put his hands on you.
We knew what was going to happen.
I was just trying to scratch your back.
Nobody's going to overreact.
So, Ernie Johnson, thank you for your time. First things first, how do you like San Francisco, and what was it like being, to a degree, in the crossfire last night, sir?
Welcome to my world, fellas, and thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it, Whitey and Ray. It's that's kind of the way it is, especially when we take that show on the road, and so I'm used to it, and I think Chuckster enjoys it to a certain degree. And I'm not saying this just because I'm on the show with you. I love San Francisco, always have. In fact, my wife, Cheryl Ann, and I have taken a couple of trips out here in the course of our 40 years of marriage, and have done Sausalito a couple of times, San Francisco. So, no, I've always loved the Bay Area.
Now that you've sort of navigated another one of those magical, let's put the 4 guys in front of a set of 2,000 drunks. Do you have the kind of throw weight at TNT where you could just go to an executive producer and go, I don't want to do that anymore? You know, no, I have to wrangle these 3 guys on a nightly basis, and now bringing in strangers who have been drinking since 1 in the afternoon is more than my job is worth.
No, we love, look, taking the show on the road has always been great for us, whether that's All-Star Weekend or the conference finals. And, I mean, seriously, when you're in the studio, it's, you do your thing, but when you're on the road, it's great to be able to interact with fans. I mean, I love taking some time before we even do the show just to go down there and kind of hang out with the fans. We're nothing without the folks who watch us. So, no, I love these times. And, Chuck can be kind of a lightning rod. And if he says he hates San Francisco, and it's just like we've had some times in San Antonio where he said some things that have gotten folks there to show up with signs and that kind of thing. So, no, it just kind of goes with the territory. But, no, love every second of it.
Yeah, that, of course, the voice of the great Ernie Johnson. Nice enough to join us.
Every second of it.
Yeah. Ernie, who had less room to operate last night, Luka against Wiggins, or you guys, Shaq, D-Wade, Kenny, and Chuck, crowded into your halftime set?
That halftime set was, that was a little tight. Those are, and I think what I said was like we had 5 grown men in a 3-man life raft. It was just, we were very chummy at halftime last night. And, but the good thing is most of that halftime is covered up by, like breakdown tapes that the guys have. And so we don't have to just sit there the whole time looking uncomfortably close. But yeah, I know part of it is, I think, the arena where you're doing that, there are certainly others we've been at where we got a little more space. But last night for 5 guys that gather around a card table, believe me, I realized how goofy it looked. But it's just what you got to do.
Your time at the kids' table aside, the playoffs this year have been, it seems to me, odder than usual because there have been more just palpable blowouts that sort of go against the way a series would be flowing. Would you expect to see more of that in these final 3 series, or do you think that sort of win by 30, lose by 28 pattern is about to stop happening?
Yeah, I would expect it would stop happening. I also, look, Dallas is on a little bit of has got a streak here where they've won 13 games in a row after getting blown out. I mean, so, if in games that they've lost by at least 20, they've come back and won the next 13 games. And so they're a resilient bunch. And so, and again, when you get to this point where you are one of these final 4 teams, I just don't. I'd be very surprised to see a string of blowouts in a series. So, no, it certainly is better for us if the games are more compelling, and so I would hope that's not a trend that we're going to see. Just a bunch of you blow us out, I'll blow you out. So I think that's something that we hope. I want every game coming right down to it. And so. We will see tomorrow night. But again, Dallas has been very good after coming back. And shoot, when you're in a game 1 after coming off a 7-game series, and Kenny made a good point last night, and he's been there, that you can be a little bit spent after a 7-game series like that, and so not a huge surprise to Kenny last night that Dallas would take it on the chin. But, we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Ernie Johnson with us on 95.7 The Game. And, Ernie, you obviously have a very unique perspective on NBA here. What's it been like to see the Warriors wander through the wilderness, if you will, for a couple of seasons now and end up back on the NBA center stage? And what has impressed you the most about the way they've gone about that?
I join everybody else who, number one, to see Klay Thompson back. He's one of he's a great talent, and so when a guy goes through what he's gone through, you root for him to make it back. And then, to see see that unit back together, they're always one of the most entertaining teams in the league to watch. On the offensive end, just the constant movement, just knowing where guys are, that's pretty amazing to watch. And then sometimes you overlook the fact that they're a very good defensive team too. And so, no, I think it's been great to have them back in here, and then to see them at this point right now. This is Golden State back to being Golden State pretty much. And so, look, I know that they've got. When they win game 1, they're really good. I'm trying to think of the stat. I've been looking at stats and stuff all day, and so they've won 13 series in a row in best of 7 when they win game 1. So it's a good sign for you. And they've been very good in game 2s as well. They've won 14 of their last 15 game 2s at home. So. I think it sets up for tomorrow night. A team that, what Golden State has is just that knowledge of what it takes to get to the ultimate prize. And so you have that working for them, and you've got a Dallas team looking to rebound and showing that they can rebound from tough losses, big losses.
Is there a historical comp for the Warriors as you go back thinking about the NBA over the years? Is there a team that had a run of success like they did and then sort of hit a flat spot and then sort of regained their flight path the way they have? Or is this the first time you've ever seen it?
Yeah, I think kind of because of how it all happened and with the injuries that Klay had, and just the various injuries that Golden State had after reaching the pinnacle. And then you go through a pandemic, and so it's in a way it is a singular feat. I can't go back and think about other championship teams or other dynasties and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think to look at the last 7, 8 years, no, it's been a heck of an achievement, and to see him back here now on the doorstep of going back to the NBA Finals, yeah, it's been a heck of a run.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of that comes close to that is maybe the Lakers when you win 3 straight with Kobe, Shaq, and then you trade Shaq, and and they struggle a little bit, and then they come back with Kobe and Pau, and then they win a couple more. It's an imperfect comparison, but that's the only thing I can think of. Ernie Johnson with us here on 95.7 The Game. Our producer wanted us to ask you about a moment you had, the Shrek moment.
Now this is going to be interesting. Anytime you preface it with our producer wanted to know, okay, I can't wait. Okay, what is it?
It's okay if you want to hang up now.
You've done every time. Every time you do these interviews, and I know people ask you about the show, and you're so gracious, and it's such a great show. But you had a moment recently where I think Charles asked Shaq, who did someone mistake you for, Shrek? And you just lost it, and it was so real. I'm just wondering if you could. Again, I know everyone asks you this stuff. What did that moment say about what it is that makes your show so unique and so entertaining?
You know what? I think it's just the whole philosophy of the show has been one of freewheeling, let it rip, unscripted, unrehearsed. I mean, that's the way we are. Look, we don't. Kenny, Shaq, and Chuck don't take part in the production meetings, okay? And we don't want them to. What we want is the unexpected, and we want gut level reactions to things. And so, if you were going to sit down and rehearse a segment and everybody knows what's coming, that takes all the fun out of it. And so I think most of what makes you laugh on that show, it's organic. It comes out of nowhere. It comes from our social, our guys who monitor social media and throwing different tweets in there that kind of add to the show and add to a storyline and we don't know what's coming. All of a sudden, they just say, "Here's social." I get that in my ear. I got a tweet, and it's not like, "Hey, I have a tweet that says boom, 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 boom." No, it's just like, "Hey, we got a tweet," and then we all kind of brace ourselves to see what it's going to be. And so, no, I think all the conversation we have on there, it's just whatever strikes somebody, and they let it rip, and then we all react to it. And again, that's what makes the show so much fun, and makes it different every time we're out there. And so. No, that's the way we want it. We would never want to do a show that's where we sit down and a producer says, "Okay, let's run through this segment and see how." We've never done that and never will.
Please say this for me: show prep is evil.
Show prep is evil?
Yeah. Because I think you sort of made the case for, we know what we're going to do because we've done it before, but we don't sit there and grind over it.
No, you know what? I'm not going to say it's evil because it's still what really kind of fuels me. If I ever get to the point, and again, you have to understand how we come at the show from different angles. I'm working with 3 players who have been in every conceivable situation out there. And so, they're relying on experience and knowing what it's like when you're down 2-0 or down 2-1, or what's going on in a huddle with 11 seconds left in the game. And that's what folks want to hear about from them. And so, for me, it's having having looked at numbers and looked at stats and looked at storylines that I think can contribute and drive conversation. So I love to look at trends and that kind of thing. And what that allows me to do is throw things out there in the middle of a conversation to advance the conversation and get reactions from these guys. And so I love the prep. I really do. And I think when it becomes a chore for me rather than something I enjoy, or I don't want to do that prep, then it's probably time for me to go.
You sadden me.
Yeah. Ernie Johnson with us on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah. But you wanted an honest answer to that, and that really is the preparation is so much fun for me, and has been for 32 years now.
Oh no, I absolutely did. I was just hoping that you would play for a moment. But you're right. You're the one who has to do the prep so that they don't have to, and it works.
Necessary evil. No, it's just my role. I mean, I'm trying to get us from point A to point B to point C and throw something out there that's going to elicit that kind of response from somebody, whether they say, man, that's a bogus stat, or man, I can't, that's stupid, that's fine. But again, that's my role on the show. And so, I think after this long, I know there are certain things that I'm going to bring up, or certain things that I ask Shaq that I know Chuck is going to broadside him, and so that's what I'm trying to do. People call me a traffic cop, and it's like, no, I'm actually a rogue traffic cop. A real good traffic cop doesn't want any fender benders at his intersection, wants everything to go smoothly. Me, I'm trying to set Penny up so Shaq just broadsides it. So, that's it's a little bit of an illness on my part, but one that I certainly enjoy trying to pull off every now and then.
Yeah, well, in your case, obviously, show prep does not equal scripted. You're prepping, but there's still that element of we still don't know what's going to happen. We're prepping for something, but we don't know what it is. Yeah.
No, for sure. That's exactly how it works. And also, there are nights where we say we're going to break this out on Chuck. Here's a piece of video that we think will really elicit a response. And again, if those guys are all part of the show production meeting, then they know what's coming. We want it to be so unexpected, and I think that's what makes it fun.
So it seems like Draymond Green is perfect for that whole vibe of NBA on TNT.
Oh yeah, he is, and I'll tell you this: a couple of years ago, maybe he came on the show and spent a couple nights with us. I think it was after Chuck had wanted to punch him in the face or something like that, and they went through that whole thing. But when we had him in for those 2 nights, it was he immediately he gets it. Okay, so he immediately jumped in there like he'd been working on the show for 10 years. And I remember having a conversation with him after those first 2 nights, and I said, man, life is good for you right now. I said, I don't know how much longer you're going to play. I said, but when you're done, folks will be all over the place trying to get you to work for them. I said, you're that good. You're genuine. You're natural. You speak your mind. You don't hold back. You're going to be perfect. And so it's really been cool to kind of have him, as part of our team now, and he contributes here every now and then. And, we've had him on a couple of different times, but, he gets it. He gets our show. He gets the business, and he'll be great at this job whenever he decides that he's not going to play anymore.
Having seen the Warriors for as many years as you guys have, is there anything about them that surprises you at this point? Or are you seeing the things that you saw in 2019 or 2016? Do they look, other than being older, do they look like the team you were used to seeing when they were getting to conference finals before?
Yeah, I think so. I think there are a few things that are just givens, and that's the constant ball movement, the constant motion, how they make teams defend the entire shot clock. And I think that can wear teams down when there's no moment to relax defensively against them, just because of that constant motion. And then you marvel at just the shot making ability, and especially with Steph, there are shots that you look at and say, how the heck can he made another one. And so that part of the game to me has been and I go back to All-Star weekends when they have the Saturday night competitions. I've always related much more to guys who shoot the ball rather than can do a million things in midair, making a dunk, because we've all shot. We've all spent time in the backyard shooting hoop, and then to see it, how they make it look so easy. And that's always been the most impressive part of it for me. And I've known Steve Kerr for a long time. Just I love his approach to the game, and I think it's summed up. And he's said it before, and other players. Just get joy out of it. Get joy out of playing the game, and I think that's always been a constant, always been a hallmark of this team.
Ernie, we appreciate your time. Just one more, and we'll let you go. And we've touched on this a little bit.
Is this from you, or is this from your producer?
This is from actually one of our interns who doesn't actually work here anymore. Okay. So
are we getting people from off the street to ask him questions? Is that
one of our
like a man on the street? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, former intern. Looking ahead to Game 2, if you're Dallas, what are you hanging your 10-gallon hat on in terms of how you turn this thing around and get back in this series?
You're hanging your hat on the fact that a lot of shots didn't go down. You had some good looks, and that those will fall. You're talking about a team here that more than half the shots they've taken in the postseason have been from three, and last night, those were not falling for them. I'm trying to, if you can bear with me for 2 seconds, I'm just looking
Sure.
at the numbers that I was going through today and trying to think of, with the way they shot the three ball last night. Okay, they had 9 threes made because they made last night made 11. So they made 9 in the first game against Utah. Everything else is way over that. They made 8 in a loss against Phoenix. But every other time you see them, they made 22, they make 18, 17, 15, 20. So I think one of the things that they're thinking is, look, we're going to make some of those shots. We're going to make more of those shots than we did last night. Luka won't turn the ball over 7 times. Luka will look at it and say, man, I had a 21-point game, and I turned the ball over 7 times. That's not going to happen again as they try to settle into the series. So I think that would be it on that side of the ball. But again, then you're going to have to say, okay, how are we going to be better at dealing with all this motion and the ball movement and the points in the paint that Golden State had. Golden State dominated the paint last night. Dominated on the boards. And so I think those are the things that Dallas is going to look at and say, shore up those couple of things on the defensive end, and our shots are going to fall. So I think, they're certainly not looking at this as, oh, we don't have a chance against these guys. They're looking at it, hey, let's be at our best and see how that shakes out in Game 2.
We're huge fans, Ernie, of you and the show. I have to say the selfless way in which you run that show, it's inspirational. So thank you very much for your time. We look forward to your coverage the rest of the way. Enjoy Game 2, and we hope to talk to you again very soon.
We'll have a great time, I'm sure. And thanks so much for having me on, man. Appreciate the kind words too. And look, this is a job we get to do, not got to do, and never going to lose sight of that.
And show prep is good.
Yeah. Show prep.
It's in its own evil way. It is.
Thank you, Ernie.
I appreciate it, fellas. See you.
Yeah, thank you. So there you go. Dallas just has to make more threes. That's the key. Thank you to Ernie Johnson. Thank you, Lucas, for lining that up.